Behind me is my Tesla Model X long range. I've owned the car for over a year now, put over 40,000 kilometers on it. And during the time I've owned it, here's the things I hate about this car. In other words, the things I don't like about this car. The first thing here has to do with the yoke, and it's not the yoke steering, it's actually where the horn is located. I've never done this where I try to push here, but I've confused which side the horn is at depending on the emergency situation, because the yoke was not always in this direction. It might have been like this, and try to do like horn while turning this yoke, it's a bit difficult. But if it was right here, I could be like this, or you just end up doing this instead of using your horn during an emergency, because all you got to do is quickly try to alert the other driver that something's going on and they need to pay attention. But all you do is you activate your vehicle voice command, your wipers, and in most cases you can also activate the horn. So you could push it once like this and it will honk, but then if you put your palm like this on it, it sounds like this. But again, the problem is it's on the right, and when the yoke is turned, it's much more difficult to use the horn. I love this shifting of the Model X where you just swipe it on the screen. There's no stalks, but the problem with it is sometimes it just fails to shift, so it can get pretty dangerous. Oh, see right there, I did forward up and then it didn't do it, and then it did it this time. So sometimes the system fails to engage into forward or back, and you're stuck in reverse when you want to go forward and you did not realize that. The next one has to do with the washer fluid. You're driving, you're on the highway, and you wash your windshield. If you have your window down, the washer fluid ends up getting inside. It gets all over here, it gets on your clothing, and when you have your windows closed, the washer fluid just glides around here. And this is happening on a Model 3. It happens on our Model Y. If you look here, it just goes over this and then right onto your window. I love the navigation on the Tesla Model X. If you have the premium connectivity, you get this beautiful satellite view. It's very smart on finding exactly where you can go to charge your Tesla. If you want to find like superchargers, it shows everything right here. You can zoom into places and see everything around you. However, if you're going over into this beautiful mountains where there's not good enough internet reception, all you get is a very empty screen. You just simply do not have any navigation. There's no offline navigation on the car. The best you get is you can type in the address and then you get like a pinpoint, just like how the supercharger is, and then you kind of have to figure out your way to get there until you get better service. It does not give you turn-by-turn direction. So all you have while you're driving and you lose internet connection, you simply have a very blank navigation. You don't have any of the satellite. You lose all that even mid-trip until you get better reception. It's pretty sad that there's no any offline navigation for turn-by-turn directions. Again, it works. If you want to find your home, it'll give you like a pinpoint, but then you have to figure out your way, how you end up going there. But keep in mind, these roads that you see here to figure out how to get there is not there when you don't have connection. So you have to figure out your way to get closer to that point. If you're living in a climate where it's very cold and you get extreme cold days, what ends up happening is that these windows stay frosted. No matter how much I turn on the defroster, these windows do not really end up de-icing. They are frozen during the winter months and the extreme cold. And when it comes to the windshield, when I see the windows getting fogged up, many of the times the car ends up blinding me as soon as I turn on defroster or the defogging feature. The windshield gets so fogged up and blinding that all I have to do is just pull over. I totally cannot see in front of me, and it takes about like 30 seconds for it to just start getting rid of. None of my vehicles has ever done this, where you just see like the windshield is getting fogged up, let's say around the edges. That's how it usually starts, and then you quickly go and turn this on for defogging. It gets a lot worse. The coolest thing about the Model X, the Falcon wing doors. Don't get me wrong, guys, I love the way the car looks when the doors are open, and I love the fact that you have this beautiful big enough opening to easily get into the car. But the problem is, no matter that my car was built in 2022, it still got the sensors on the doors. It's got the ultrasonic sensors, as you can see, for parking. This door ends up hitting other cars. It has hit 3 cars already, and thankfully all of the cars is actually ours. It doesn't hit like a panel here. What it ends up hitting all the time is the mirrors. So if, let's say I came home and then I parked and my dad's Mercedes is parked and the mirror is folded and this door is gonna open up alongside with the mirror, every time it will actually hit. So when I go into parking spots, I park in a way that this door is nowhere lining up with the mirror. And what makes it worse, guys, the door is still trying to open up. Hear the sound. It's pushing against someone's mirror, but it's still trying to open up. The problem with this doors is the side mirrors. I've done a video in a very tight spot where I parked the car, and in that video you could see the doors are so smart. They open up very nicely without hitting other cars. They give you plenty of room to get in. It just does not like other car mirror. It will hit people as well, as you can see. So anytime you open up the Falcon Wing door, you have to just step back, let it open, and then you can get in. This next one on the list has to do with rattles from the interior of the car. So anytime I'm driving above cracks on the road, something like this or like this, you hear rattles, you hear thumps, you hear a bunch of noises coming from the interior trim. And this is happening since the delivery day of this vehicle. I've taken in like multiple times to Tesla and they were never able to eliminate the noise. It eliminated for about 2 days, and then after that it just starts happening again. I never test drove this car before taking delivery because I was waiting a year to take delivery of this. This Model X has the air suspension. I put the settings to the comfort. It is smoother than the Model Y and 3, but I expected the ride quality to be much more smoother in the comfort setting. The build quality of my Model X, like look at that A-pillar. It feels like the A-pillar is dented inwards, and this is how it came from factory, and this is considered in spec. But that there is not a big deal. What I've had issue with this vehicle, these black beautiful trim pieces, like look how nice they stayed. They didn't get scratched up or anything. They're in very, very good shape. Like maybe this scratch right there, but you can't even see it. It's a very high quality trim piece. However, during the winter time, it connected with this door. The door was rubbing against this one. So here's the video of that. I was able to move this forward, but somehow it was able to get jammed in between the Falcon Wing door and the passenger door. This next one has to do with the push to open door buttons, because the problem with it is, if you live in like a summer area, no problem, look how awesome it is. But when you're living in a Canadian winter, extreme cold, icy days, what happens is, this is not like the Model Y or the Model 3. Where you can just play around like left, right, and then break the ice. It's a button. This door was working, but this door was literally shut. I could no way push this button, no matter what I was trying to do. I could not get in the car. So the only way I was able to get in the car is I opened up the app. Because it has these automatic doors, it ended up opening the door for me to get in. But the button was not working. It was frozen with ice. Once I parked it in the heated garage, it obviously melted and it was working just fine the next morning. If you have a Model X, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you've got a car parked right here, and let's just say I come here and I'm like right there, and I want to open this door. It kind of fights with you in a way. You come trying to get in, it kind of opens up like this. You're trying to open the rest of the way. It just seems like it's stopping you from doing that. Or you're trying to close the door, it just wants to open it, kind of thing. That's one thing with the door that I don't like. And this is happening also on the passenger side. And my wife noticed that immediately once she first got into the Model X. So it's a very cool thing that the doors automatically open for you. When you just come, you push this, it does it. But if there's a car next to you, sometimes it just opens up like this much. and then you have to try to open it, but then the door is not letting you to open it. During the winter time, when the car is full of snow on it and I use the brush to clean the car and I get back inside, it's cold. I don't usually preheat my car before I'm getting in. I've got my beautiful gloves. I love these gloves. But I get in and I'm trying to use the turn signal, guys. Like, it does not work. None of the buttons work on the yoke. As you can see with my fingers, it works, no problem. But as soon as you try to use it with gloves, you don't have turn signals. This never would happen if you have stalks like this. You can just quickly do this with your gloves. But again, I don't have horn. I have nothing if I'm wearing these gloves. And I like these gloves, but I can't drive this car if I'm wearing these gloves because I won't have horn if I need to, and I can't use my turn signals. Last one here on my list has to do with the tire rubbing whenever you're turning your yoke. It's not doing it right here, as you can see. I've got the window closed, and hear this out. So when you're moving, this noise is not there, as you can see. I'm stopped and I'm trying to turn my steering wheel. I hear this rubbing. As soon as you drive, no problem whatsoever, as you can see. So these are the things I hate about my Tesla Model X. If you guys own a Model X, let me know the things you don't like about your car. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one.